Hello, good evening to you and welcome to News 360. We are live from the News Hub at Asiedu-Dartey, Kanda. I am Natalie Fort.
And my name is Alfredo Consi. Coming up in the bulletin tonight.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
President Akufo-Addo calls for reforms in the United Nations to address global political systems.
The time is long overdue to correct the long-standing injustice that the current structure and composition of the UN Security Council represent for the nations of Africa.
Also in the bulletin tonight, we get you details where some opposition parties describe government's proposal to mark August 4 as Founders' Day as an attempt to distort and rewrite the country's history.
Also, second batch of police and military personnel to be deployed for commencement of the second phase of Operation Vanguard next month.
And on the international front, thousands of Togolese again demonstrate in major cities in the country.
We've got the details of these stories for you here on News 360. We are streaming all across the world on 3news.com as well as TV3 Ghana on Facebook. And here's where we start off this evening. President Akufo-Addo has called for reforms in the UN Security Council to ensure fairness and to strengthen democracy. In his maiden address to the United Nations at the 72nd General Assembly meeting in New York, the president said the global organization is currently not seen as being fair to its own members, hence the need for urgent reform.
President Akufo-Addo spoke about the introduction of the free senior high school program, which has ensured that students who in the past could not afford secondary education now have that chance. The president told the meeting Ghana is working to open up opportunities for all its citizens.
No longer should Ghanaians feel they have to subject themselves to the intolerable and inhumane conditions of crossing the Sahara and drowning in the Mediterranean in the hope of making a living in Europe. We've just started the free senior high school program, which aims to guarantee secondary education for all of Ghana's children. This program will ensure that all our children will be educated to at least secondary level, and money, or the lack of it, will no longer mean a denial of education.
President Akufo-Addo gave an assurance of Ghana's commitment to maintain friendly relations with all countries and peoples of the world.
The full engagement of Ghana through the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, in the process of West African integration, and through the African Union, AU, in the process of African integration, remains a goal of my government. Regional and continental integration are in Ghana's interest, as they represent one of the surest ways towards establishing the conditions for prosperity in our region and on the continent.
He again called for urgent reforms in the UN.
Ghana supports the process of UN reform, especially of the UN Security Council, as set out in Africa's common position on UN reform, based on the Eswatini Consensus. The time is long overdue to correct the long-standing injustice that the current structure and composition of the UN Security Council represent for the nations of Africa.
Well, since its inception in 2009, the Founders' Day holiday instituted by the late President John Evans Tamails has been celebrated without controversy. However, a decision by President Akufo-Addo to introduce a new Founders' Day on August 4 to acknowledge the contributions of all others in Ghana's independence struggle has generated an intense debate. In the following report, Godfrey Tanam takes us back into the history on our founders.
The father or founder of a nation, according to Wikipedia, is an honorific title given to a person considered the driving force behind the establishment of his country, state, or nation. In monarchies, for instance, the monarch was often bestowed by the father or mother of the nation or as a patriarch to guide his family. In some instances, some dictators bestow titles upon themselves which rarely survive the end of their regime. Gnassingbé Yadima of Togo's titles included Father of the Nation, Older Brother, and Guide of the People. Mobutu Sese Seko of Zaire included Father of the Nation, the Guide, the Messiah, the Helmsman, the Leopard, the Sun President, and the Cock who jumps on anything that moves. In post-colonial Africa, Father of the Nation was a title used by many leaders both to refer to their role in the independence movement as a source of legitimacy and to use paternalist symbolism as a source of continued popularity. In some countries, the constitutions have officially declared some leaders as founders of their nation. In Ghana, there are two unyielding stands on many platforms on Ghana's independence, always becoming a clash among members of the governing NPP and CPP and the NDC on another. The NPP, the descendants of UGCC, believes Ghana could not have been founded by Nkrumah alone to deserve a special attention.
The cry for independence had been resonating from 1945 to 1948. What magic could one person have done from December when he arrived in Ghana to February 1948, when the agitation reached its apogee, if there was nothing worthwhile on the ground?
They are of the view the struggle for independence was designed by the founders of UGCC, which invariably means the offspring of United Party wants members of the UGCC to be given the same treatment given to Nkrumah. But the CPP and NDC have mentioned Kwame Nkrumah, who was voted the BBC listener in Africa in 2000 as a man of the millennium, deserves the founder accolade because of his immense contributions towards the independence of the country.
Nkrumah, he is the founder of our nation. He led the independence struggle. Many people contributed, and it happens in Christianity. There's John the Baptist, there's all the apostles and everybody, but who is the champion of Christianity? Jesus Christ.
The argument therefore is any attempt to elevate Dr. J.B. Dankwa and others will amount to rewriting of the history of the country. Late Professor Evans Mills in 2009 declared September the birthday of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah as a Founders' Day celebration. Following the argument by the NPP that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah cannot be the sole founder of Ghana, President Akufo-Addo, by executive instrument, declared September 21 as Nkrumah Memorial Day and August 4 as Founders' Day. Is it really the case Kwame Nkrumah founded Ghana and he's been sidelined even though a day has been set aside to celebrate him, or it is a matter of fact that Ghana's history was distorted by earlier writers of history and it is time to correct it?
Meanwhile, political historian Professor Nana Asiedu-Dartey has described as needless the proposal of a new Founders' Day on August 4. He argues history cannot be falsified, but a senior research fellow at the Institute of African Studies at the University of Ghana, Dr. Ebenezer Ayensu, is of the view the day is relevant.
That every struggle is started by many, but it takes the charisma of one individual to usher that struggle to its climax. The controversy about who founded Ghana ranges on. While some say that Nkrumah was a lead person and should be recognized as such, others think that some people helped in the struggle and should be included. But rarely does this discussion matter at all. Political historian Professor Nana Asiedu-Dartey says it is a complete waste of time.
Why exacerbate an already situation that doesn't give us any unity? It's a situation that exacerbates our divisions politically. When we have problems to go as a united people and redevelop our country or see how much we can contribute, each and every one of us and collectively, to move this country forward. But all these things are not necessary as far as I'm concerned. If we start raking that mud It will be terrible. So I say, let sleeping dogs lie. Let's agree. Call it Foundation Day, as against Founders Day.
A senior research fellow at the Institute of African Studies of the University of Ghana, Dr. Ebenezer Ayesu, says it is relevant.
By creating a special day for Kwame Nkrumah, that is a way of extra recognition of what he has done. So there's nothing wrong. That's his birthday. Besides that, others who provided tangible and intangible support for the independence struggle has to be honored.
What do some members of the public also think?
I think we have more pressing issues, you know, as a nation, and this political banter needs to cease.
I think it's very relevant. I actually personally feel that I should replace Nkrumah's birthday. Nkrumah had to work with people to get to Ghana to where we got to.
Many have also argued the contributions of members of the United Gold Coast Convention, though essential, cannot overshadow the glory of Nkrumah as founder of New Ghana. King Osei Tutu I, for instance, is given credit as the founder of Asante Kingdom because the Asante society became into being under his political hegemony. Also, Thomas Jefferson, Robert Livingston, John Adams, Roger Sherman, and Benjamin Franklin are also said to have drafted the Declaration of United States Independence, yet the authorship is credited to Thomas Jefferson. Professor Nana Esilfi-Kodua insists Dr. Nkrumah founded Ghana, arguing the leaders of UGCC openly opposed the self-government now vision by Nkrumah.
When they had abandoned him, when they had betrayed him, when they had strangled 7 times his life, bombs, letters, ditching the whole country from one industry and cocoa price, right? Oil, right? All kinds of things.
Dr. Ayesu says all those who contributed to the independence struggle before the emergence of the UGCC and the CPP should be recognized.
If we are to put up names, every now and then, people, social commentators, historians, or researchers will come up with new names which you have to add. It's not necessarily names, but we have to recognize that.
He said though the day should be celebrated, it must not necessarily be a holiday and should also not be tied to the Independence Day. Evelyn Tengma, TV3 News, Accra.
Well, let's still stay with this a bit further because the Convention People's Party, CPP, has described as unfortunate attempts to rewrite the history of Ghana and attempts to water down, in their words, the contribution of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah towards Ghana's independence. According to the party leaders, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah remains a pace setter for the emancipation of Africa.
The Convention People's Party on Thursday joined the Progressive Socialist Forces to commemorate the 108th birthday of Asiedu Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, a day which is celebrated as Ghana's Founders' Day. Leader and chairman of the party, Professor Edmund Daly, said the CPP is not happy about the position of government to alter history.
The CPP considers as unfortunate recent attempts by reactionary forces to once again attempt to rewrite the history of Ghana and water down the contribution of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah to the emancipation of the black man as well as Ghana's independence. Asiedu is the foundation stone of Ghana and a leading pacemaker for the emancipation of Africa.
The presence of some NDC members, Ambassador Lee Okran, Samuel Ofosu Ampofo, was an indication the CPP had won support from the opposition National Democratic Congress.
To the issue of Kwame Nkrumah, there is no division. We all think alike. And nobody, whichever permutations, whichever distortions, changing names and changing dates, will ever change the situation that Kwame Nkrumah was the founder of Ghana and all of it.
Managing editor of the Insight newspaper, Kwesi Pratt Jr., commended the effort of all those who contributed in achieving independence for Ghana, but maintains Asiedu Dr. Kwame Nkrumah alone deserves the recognition of the founder of Ghana.
We are not just saying that Nkrumah was a superman who did it all. We are saying that Nkrumah's ideas for African unity, for industrialization of Africa, for the mobilization of the African people to move the continent forward are still relevant today. Nobody can deny the fact that it was Nkrumah who brought the masses onto the stage. When Nkrumah joined the UGCC, it had only 3 branches. It was Nkrumah who brought the women's movement on board, brought the youth movement on board, linked the struggle to the trade unions, mobilized the whole country, and established branches in Tumu, Bolga, Navrongo, Kumasi, and everywhere. So even when it comes to 4th August, Nkrumah is the supremo, even on 4th August.
I want to see you, what Nkrumah show boy. I want to see you.
Well, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's statue at Kulungugu in the Upper East region is begging for attention. Eva Tibuka reports of a defaced monument not befitting of the memorial of Ghana's first president.
There was an attempted assassination of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah at Kulungugu, a village in the Boku West district of the Upper East region, on August 1, 1962. He was returning from then Upper Volta, now Burkina Faso, after peace talks with President Maurice Yamiongo over the construction of the Volta Dam. The bomb was planted in a bouquet of flowers and given to a little girl to present to him on behalf of the people of Kulungugu. His bodyguard, sensing danger, shoved him. Although several people from the crowd died, Dr. Nkrumah survived but sustained injuries together with others.
It killed a lot of people, more than even 30 people been killed. And the girl, it has just condemned her. They just gather it like a sand and bury her.
Chief of Kulungugu, Zito Abarichi, was a victim.
I was 15 years at the time. The bullet hit my leg. A lot of people died, but I survived. And when the incident happened, armed men came and burnt down the whole community, except the chief's palace. 55
years after the incident, this is a monument in remembrance of the incident.
You can see, anybody can even know it is our first president of Ghana. They can help us to build something out. It will be safe so that cars cannot be knocking every day, or they can do runabout around this.
Kulungugu, a frontier between neighboring Burkina Faso and Ghana, if developed, could be a big tourism attraction site.
Yeah. It is a very worrying sight. I mean, we're talking about Kwame Nkrumah.
Certainly.
And we should take some of these things serious. There's a monument
board. It's our history. It's our history.
In this country. They should go around and ensure that some of these things are put in shape. But as we put the spotlight on this in Kulungugu, that's not the only one about Kwame Nkrumah that's been left to the mercy of or the fate in which you find it now. Back here in Accra, patrons who visited the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum and Memorial Park on Thursday morning were disappointed as they could not access the museum. Why? This was due to the ongoing rehabilitation works at the facility.
The mausoleum, built on a man-made island, is connected to the mainland by 2 bridges. The facility, surrounded by water, conveys a sense of immortality of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, who led Ghana into independence in 1957. Scores of patrons from all walks of life Thursday morning wanted to pay homage to one of Ghana's founding fathers. They were, however, denied access to the museum, which houses some items, pictures, books and clothing of the country's first president. This was attributed to ongoing works at the facility, which was expected to have been completed earlier.
We should have renovated 3 months ago so that everybody can come. Foreigners are coming to visit us so that they can see the place is too dirty. You cannot enter there. We don't know what is going wrong. So we need explanation from the government or the Minister of Tourism.
You can see the whole place is not looking neat at all. The green grass, we don't know whether they have a maintenance over or not.
Again, there was no tour guide leaving patrons to their fate.
We have not seen anybody to take us around.
This artist had become the main attraction. The news team sought to find out from these pupils their knowledge about Ghana's first president.
I know that he's the one who fought for Ghana to get independence.
Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's son, Onzi Nkrumah, who was at the facility, called for the speeding up of the rehabilitation work.
It's not impressive. We cannot be proud of the state. It needs obviously more funds to maintain it. We need to continue to be proud of our founding father.
Now, the opposition National Democratic Congress embarked on a march to protest proposals by government to rechristen Founders Day, Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Day, a decision they have vowed to resist.
Thousands of supporters of the opposition National Democratic Congress took part in the walk through some principal streets of Accra. They later converged at the Hearts Park close to the Kwame Nkrumah Mausoleum, where the leaders addressed the supporters.
The National Democratic Congress, that's the NDC, is using its unity walk to foster unity and also reorganize the party. But today being Founders Day, the message they are carrying across is that this day should never be changed.
You cannot change history and you cannot change destiny. You understand? So I think what we know and what we are all used to should remain. And I believe any other holiday can come, but this particular day is the day that the founder of this country, Asiedu-Dartey was born. And any country, any nation that does not honor its heroes is not worth dying for.
We shall resist oppressor's rule with what? All our will and all our might. If we are able to resist the oppressor's rule of the colonialist forces, we shall resist the oppressor's rule of the little cabal that wants to destroy and divert attention and destroy Ghana's history.
Asiedu-Dartey Kwame Nkrumah birthed this country. It is fair and proper, it is judicious, it is warranted to have his name to lead the pack as the founder of Ghana.
Well, it appears that this particular subject, it's not going to end anytime soon, at least. And I've been joined via Skype by Professor Ramford Jampo. He's a political scientist at the University of Ghana, Legon, and the Director for Center of European Studies at Legon. Doc, good evening to you. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Hi, good evening.
Let me also acknowledge Lawyer Kwame Jantua, who is a leading member of the CPP, who has joined us on the telephone. Lawyer, good evening to you. Thank you for joining us as well. Hello.
To Ransford.
Great, thank you. Now, let me start with you, Dr. Professor Jampo. Now, I mean, at this point of our development pattern as a country of a democracy, is it a needful or a needless conversation for us to be engaged in who really is a founder and what the way forward is?
Well, thank you. Important that we try to rehash some of these things just to be able to educate those who have no knowledge about our history, because you always have many people being, born or every day, almost, on a daily basis and all that. And so if the debate and discussion would help in also ensuring that they become very much aware of our history. I mean, we studied these things not even in the university. If you did GCE O level Form 1 to Form 5 and you studied government, you would know that it was nationalists that brought about the fight for independence, and then we went on to attain independence for us. And when you talk about nationalism, you're talking about simply a patriotic feeling one has for his country. And there were two types of nationalist groups. We had the total nationalist groups, and then also the militant nationalist groups. Proto-nationalist groups just asked for reforms, and then they also demanded for independence, but in the shortest possible time. And so
okay, so at this point, great. Right, Prof. Okay, your net connectivity was just breaking down a bit. If you could just hold on for me for the other point where I would connect with you now, Lawyer Kwame Jantua. Now, for those who in favor of the argument of a pluralized founder celebration, they say that there are many founders, but Nkrumah comes across or is actually the primus inter pares among the persons or individuals who have been celebrated as founders. Your thoughts on this?
Let me ask you a question. Who ended it? Who had the wherewithal to make sure it happened? The one thing that was missing within the UGCC group was the fact that they did not have the skills nor the time to engage with the people. Because it is told, and history says it, it was told that they were finding it difficult to engage because of their individual personal professions. They had to work, they had to make money. All of them were lawyers. And they did not have the time to engage. So Kwame Nkrumah came down, and remember, Kwame Nkrumah came down with absolutely nothing. He came down with his 2 suitcases. And he got into the fray of the UGCC. He was a super organizer, and he organized. And in organizing, he just didn't decide that he's going to leave the UGCC. No, there were reasons. What was one of the major reasons? One of the major reasons was that the Committee of Youth Organization said they wanted to be the youth wing of the UGCC. And the likes of J.B. Dankwa said, no, we will not let it happen. Kwame Nkrumah himself wasn't prepared to leave till the youth said, no, if they are not going to accept us, then break away and form your own. We would follow you. And he was a super organizer. And that was what was missing.
Well, you see, those 2 positions have been really entrenched by those who support both sides. But why are we even at this point? I mean, this historical quagmire that we find ourselves in at this moment.
And that is one thing I don't understand. We're going to celebrate all those who we say they are part and parcel of founders. Celebrate everybody. Ajete's group, the SK Blaze group, all of them. Why have we, and why has this current government sectioned out a few people? Why? I don't understand that. I have nothing wrong against founders, but there was a spearhead. Let me give you an analogy. The Black Stars want to win the World Cup. They are playing Germany. They played and they played and they played and they played. They are not scoring.
Okay.
They end up not scoring. They meet Germany again, and one player, he gets the ball passed to him and he scores. Whose name do we mention?
Well, it obviously has to be Asamoah Gyan, but I don't think he has the scoring prowess now. But lawyer, thank you for that point. But let me come to you, Professor Jampo. Now, with all that's happening, it makes some of us begin to question the kind of political history you taught us in the lecture hall. I mean, how do we move from this point? It's becoming very worrying.
Well, I think I do not dispute and disagree with Lawyer Kwame Jantua for the role that Nkrumah played in bringing about our independence. I mean, that he was an excellent organizer is indubitable. The way and manner he tried to affiliate the CPP with all other groups and ensure that he affiliated the party with the ordinary people, the commoners and all that. I mean, you cannot take that from him. But I think that in discussing issues regarding who founded Ghana, I want to also say that we must recognize the role played by Kwame Nkrumah. In addition, we must also recognize the role played by all others who contributed in the independence struggle and then in the fight for independence. So, like I was saying, proto-nationalist groups started it, and their demand was simply for reforms and for independence in the shortest possible time. Now you had militant nationalist groups coming in, led by people like Kwame Nkrumah, who said they wanted independence now. And I must admit that this led to a kind of conflict between Kwame Nkrumah and then the other proto-nationalist groups, and all that detracted his efforts. I don't know whether you remember, Nkrumah is reported to have said that, well, upon attainment of independence, some chiefs were going to run away and leave their sandals behind them. And this was as a result of some of the hindrances and hurdles they tried to put in his way. At the end of the day, we attained independence. In my view, to the extent that somebody started the fight and others came to build on, it is only fair that whilst we recognize the contribution of Kwame Nkrumah, we also extend it to recognize all others who also play some pioneering role. That's my view.
Prof, thank you very much for your time this evening, as always. Professor Ransford Jampo is a political scientist and also the director of the Center for European Studies at the University of Ghana, Legon, and also joining us on the telephone, Kwame Jantua. He is a leading member of the Convention People's Party.
NEWS360 Skype interview is brought to you by MTN, everywhere you go.
You're watching News 360. We've got news for you from the world of business in a few moments' time, so stay with us. Welcome back to News 360. Time now for some business news, and we start off at the ports as West Blue Ghana Limited says the takeover by Customs World is a well-planned step to advance and boost customs and ports efficiency in the country. In a statement, Chief Executive Officer Valentina Minta indicated the venture would yield an improved operational system which will increase government revenue and reduce cost of doing business at the ports.
The Chief Executive Officer of the West Blue Ghana Limited, Valentina Minta, noted giant strides made with the National Single Window and the paperless transaction program, combining local and global expertise, will fast-track gains. As part of the agreement, Customs World International will invest significant resources, including capital, world-class technologies and human expertise in the country's single window operations, as they have done in other countries. The implementation of the new systems will be based on a robust risk engine that will improve efficiency in the country's ports and the customs operations and increase government's revenue and reduce the cost of doing business at the ports. The acquisition by the Customs World is expected to automate customs, free zones and port processes in the country and build the country's capacities through the application of technology and services that will mirror the operational model in Dubai.
Away from the ports now, those of you looking for living properties, Indigo Homes, in collaboration with its partners Black Ivy Ghana and Mercury Estates, have officially opened its model homes for the Ayi Mensa Park. The park, a gated 218 mixed-use residential development, is situated at the foot of the Ebri Mountains.
In April 2017, the project team commenced the construction of the Ayi Mensa Park homes. After 5 months, model homes for the park are now ready and open to the public. The gated 218 mixed residential development, which consists of 1-bedroom larger condos, 2-bedroom terraced townhomes and 3-bedroom semi-detached townhomes, offers luxury as well as green landscapes, gracious central park and a scenic mountain view. The Deputy Minister of Housing and Water Resources, Frida Prempe, said the development is in line with government's program to reduce the country's current housing deficit.
Let me take this opportunity to commend Ayi Mensa Park for taking this initiative to put up these beautiful luxury homes. It's more of a luxury home. So it comes with the price. The price attached to it isn't too bad, looking at the finishing.
Design features for the homes include open floor plans, gourmet kitchens with deep basin sinks and engineered stone countertops, master bedroom suites with dual vanities, spacious closets and terraced balconies.
I must say that what I've seen here today goes beyond my wildest imagination. You are not just looking for a house, you are looking for a home. So what this particular housing project is delivering is not just houses. If you see the quality of the materials that have been used and the architecture and just the overall setting, it goes beyond a house. It's something that you can actually easily turn into a home.
The CEO of Black Ivy Cherry Mills said the company will continue to invest in technologies that offer quality to buyers and speed up construction for the delivery of its homes and communities.
We're trying to build quality homes at an accessible price so that people can really have the benefits of what it means to really love where you live. And so we're committed to building quality homes that actually are in a way that actually allow people to have a life that they really enjoy.
Very comfy looking homes there. Let's now turn to the banking sector as the Busumtri Rural Bank in the Ashanti region has recorded a 23% increase in profit after tax of 1.7 million cedis. This is against the 1.4 million cedis recorded in 2015. Board Chairman Philip Edward Kwabena Entry disclosed this at the 27th annual general meeting of the bank at Kuntunase.
Deposits of the Busumtri Rural Bank increased by 26% from 35.7 million in 2015 to 45 million cedis in 2016. The bank's loans advances also shot up by 9% from 13.7 million to 14.9 million cedis over the period. Board Chairman of the bank, Philip Edward Kwabena Entry, attributed the speedy processing and timely disbursement of loans as factors contributing to the performance. He added the bank is leveraging on innovative products and services, especially the Salaried Workers Bonanza Credit product, to survive stiff competition from other financial institutions.
Our Salary Workers Bonanza Credit product continued to do well. Again, in the year under review, your innovative bank introduced the Public Sector Employee Loan Finance product that seeks to rope in non-customer public sector salary earners.
The board chairman again appealed to the government to reduce the 25% corporate tax rate to enable rural and community banks to continue their contributions to the development of rural communities.
The bank extended support to communities, institutions, and projects in its catchment areas, amounting to a total of 45,641 Ghana cedis 2 pesos 2016 as compared to 34,459 Ghana cedis spent in 2015. It is our hope to do more to support communities in terms of development.
National President of the Association of Rural Banks, Dr. Nana Ekuwa-Wabuama, also asked government to protect the rural banks from collapse. Ashanti Regional Manager of the ARB Apis Bank, George Ano, was impressed about the performance of the bank in the year under review. In pursuance of its corporate social responsibilities, the bank invested over 45,000 cedis to support projects in communities and institutions in its catchment area.
And that's where we wrap up the business news this evening here on News 360. But there's more business news on our website, 3news.com. Alfred.
Thank you, Natalie. But let's go now to the Operation Vanguard, because a second batch of police and military personnel are to be deployed to mining sites for the commencement of the second phase of Operation Vanguard. As the first phase ends by September 29, the Chief of Defense Staff and Inspector General of Police have expressed satisfaction at the work of the team so far, describing the first phase as successful.
400 personnel from the Ghana Armed Forces and the police service have been camped and trained here at the Bundasi training camp for 2 months. The second batch of personnel would be replacing the first 400 deployed in August to 3 regions where illegal mining activities are rampant. As part of preparations towards their deployment, the Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Lubet Aqua, and the Inspector General of Police, David Asantia Pietu, visited the men at camp.
This operation is bound to succeed. There is no other way. And we are going to, in fact, expand it to cover other regions. Instructions will be issued accordingly. So have that mindset. We are already on the way to success. The foundation has been laid. You are the next batch. Please follow on the good work done by your predecessors. And when you are also being changed, you can come here and sing your praises.
You have to treat the community with a high level of human rights. You have to take due process in your arrest, seizure of equipment, and then detention and subsequent prosecution of offenders.
The first batch had complained of inadequate logistics for effective operations at the various sites, but the Chief of Defense Staff assured the second batch of adequate supply of all necessary logistics.
We are giving you sufficient logistics so that there will be no requirement for you to go out of town to go and buy food or even water. We are providing. The government has made available sufficient resources for you to be comfortable where you are.
Interesting. Still live on News 360. We're back with some sport news. Do stay.
Hi, good evening, and it's time to bring you all the latest in the world of sports. You can call this the Founders Day edition. Well, my name is Thierry Nyan. Let's start with this particular one because now it's been confirmed. Both winners in the semi-final clashes, Nigeria and Ghana, are now going to be in the final of the WAFU Cup. So Nigeria and Ghana are going to be renewing that particular rivalry that has been spanning so many years. Nigeria and Ghana have already clashed in the WAFU Cup. Remember, in the last round of group games in Group A, Nigeria winning against the Black Stars B team. So let's see exactly what will come of that particular one. But they did it by beating Benin and Niger, respectively. We'll bring you some updates to this particular one subsequently. But let's move on to some of the news. And CAF President Ahmad Ahmad has arrived in Ghana together with his entire executive committee members in the continent for a CAF executive meeting to deliberate on issues that will add the improvement of African football. So let's see exactly how that goes, because he was welcomed by Kwesi Nyantechi and his executive members as well.
We are privileged to have him in Ghana. This is the first visit of the CAF president to Ghana since he was elected in March this year.
I'd like to thank you to be here. It shows the interest for the football, the respect for our African Football Confederation, and as the president of Ghana Football Association and my vice president of executive committee of CAF told, we are here for the executive committee meeting. As you know, we try to share this meeting to go to see what happened in Africa, because CAF is for Africa. But you see that the meeting of the executive committee is held on every country in Africa. So we have a big agenda for this meeting, and I mean, we are going to take a big decision here in Ghana, and we are happy to be here to discuss about the future of football, because Ghana is a very big nation in general in Africa, with a very big democracy in Africa. So it helps us maybe to go to take everything behind the democracy. Thank you very much.
All right, so that was CAF President Ahmad Ahmad. Now to Sierra Leone, because the IFA President, Isha Johansson, has been charged with abuse of office and misuse of public funds by the country's Anti-Corruption Commission. Johansson has been indicted on 6 counts and has Sierra Leone, FA, General Secretary Chris Kamara also in the same soup. Now, Johansson has denied the charges and showed a lot of determination to continue the good plan that she has already started in the country, and has also announced her intention to stand for another term.
That and I really don't spend time listening to the radio or flicking through the newspapers or social media, that kind of stuff. I don't. I'm very focused as to what it is that I'm doing. So if they do have a strong opinion against me one way or the other, I don't know. And I certainly do not spend any time trying to listen to what people have got to say, particularly about me, because you can't always like everybody, at the end of the day. And I say this, that if I wanted to be liked, I'd be in a beauty pageant or a fashion show, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to get a job done within 4 years, and what I'm able to do, I do it within the shortest possible time, given the constraints that I have. And I would like to extend that term. I have on my mind and on my shoulders now the responsibility to play an integral part, a very vital part in shaping women's football in the African continent. So I really have no time to sit down and be pondering over whether people like me or not in Sierra Leone, getting the job done.
Yeah, so a lady in charge of the Football Association of Sierra Leone. It was in that same country that football was banned, or their league was banned for a whole year. It tells you the state of their football. But anyway, that's exactly where we bring an end to the sports bulletin right here on News 360. For Chelsea fans, Diego Costa finally, officially, is out of your club. He's moving to Atletico Madrid. Anyway, Natalie Ford will be bringing us some international news. Well,
thanks, Terry, for that. It's nice to see a lady there.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
She's been banned, though.
It is. Well, we have some international news for you now on News 360.
Thousands of people have again demonstrated in Togo's major cities. The demonstrators want the departure of the country's president, whose family has been in power for 50 years. There were massive security forces deployment across the country on Thursday. There was violence elsewhere, with protesters burning the houses of people perceived to be close to the regime. In the northern town of Mango, tear gas was used to scatter demonstrators and dozens of people were injured. Human rights activists say a child was killed in Mango on Wednesday when security forces opened fire with live ammunition. Opposition leader Jean-Pierre Fabre wants more demonstrations next Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. For Nyasimbe has been president of Togo since 2005. He succeeded his father Nyasimbe Yadema, who seized power in a military coup in 1967.
Well, there's a lot more on Togo in a subsequent bulletins, because my colleague and our colleague Komla Kluche is there now and bringing us a lot more updates. But thank you for staying with us here on News 360. My name is Alfred Okonsit.
And I'm Natalie Fort. Remember, we've got more news on our website, 3news.com, and news at 10 later this evening will simulcast on our sister station, 3FM 92.7. Next is Tashan.